Jr. and the Padres taking on the surprising Cardinals, who've won the first two games of this set in San Diego. And then there's the Mets in Arizona, where they won last night behind Clay Holmes, who leads the National League in ERA. He's been terrific. Mets and Diamondbacks, some we'll see across the country. It's Fox Baseball Night in America, presented by Geico, as we welcome you on a Saturday evening and afternoon. Come on into our LA studios, and a day that is really tough for baseball because the sport lost an absolute icon, the passing of former Braves manager Bobby Cox at the age of 84. Welcome in. Mark Sweeney is here. I'm Kevin Burkhardt, and that's how this day started for Bobby Cox, one of the all-time greats. Sad news for the entire baseball world today when you think about the impact that he had on so many people and so many players. Cox, the Hall of Famer, passing away earlier today at the age of 84. He was so many things. He led the Braves to 14 straight division titles, 5 NL pennants, of course the 1995 World Series winners with that organization that he helped build almost 4 decades for Bobby Cox, who gets into the Hall of Fame in the 2014 class, 4-time Manager of the Year, 4th most wins of any manager in history, and you will not hear anyone who's ever come in contact with him say a bad thing about Bobby Cox. Earlier today, our very own Hall of Famer and our analyst John Smoltz spoke about the man he spent 2 decades with in Atlanta.
He was everything. He traded for me, and, you know, that was a big trade back then, and certainly I needed to do my bargain, do my end, but then he managed me into the pitcher that I became. There's no single person who had a bigger impact on my career than Bobby. He had confidence in you, whether you had confidence in yourself. He simplified the game. If you were slumping big time at the plate, he said, all I need you to do is hit 300 for the week. Can you do that? And the player would say, yeah. And he just understood that if you weren't a man, he was going to help you be a man. But if you were a man, he treated you like one. You know, people don't even understand that he had 3 simple rules. And if you think about the game today and how it's evolved and the different changes in culture, his 3 simple rules were wear your hat right, show up on time, and no music anywhere. Wear your headphones. He never wanted any kind of music to irritate or upset somebody on the day of the game, and he just said, you got headphones, wear them. And if you couldn't keep those 3 rules, you did not deserve not only to play for Bobby, you probably didn't deserve to play baseball, period. So that's why we won. We won despite some of the changes we made. And he just had an ability to get you going, and you would run through a wall for him.
Traded for John Smoltz. He drafted Chipper Jones as a general manager and then became manager and won 14 straight division titles. I mean, he was amazing.
Yeah, and KB, Andrew Jones, the talented center fielder, Hall of Famer, thinks of him as his second father. And it's interesting because he got pulled early in the game because of the way he was playing, and it really changed Andrew Jones as a player, and those moments are very important. It was respect for Bobby Cox, and understanding that if you didn't play in a Braves uniform, you wanted to be in that uniform because of Bobby Cox, the respect around the game. I played for the St. Louis Cardinals, Tony La Russa, Hall of Fame manager, and also Bobby Cox, and they went locked horns because that was the reasoning. They just loved performing and understanding. They had a talented team, but also it was about the managers and their style and what they were going to do at the end of the game to win that.
Tough to find anyone better. Obviously, the great resume, but Bobby Cox was one of a kind. Baseball will surely miss him. Bobby Cox, dead today at the age of 84. Baseball loses an icon.
Baseball Night in America on Fox, presented by Mattress Firm. Out west in the desert, Chase Field in Phoenix is the site as we get set for Game 2 of a 3-game series. Beat a couple of National League foes. The New York Mets took the opener of this series 3-1 in 10 innings last night. excellent pitching as of late for New York, and they get set to take on the Diamondbacks in Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. Adam Amin, the World Series champion, A.J. Pierzynski, Ken Rosenthal is with us as well. Obviously, the big headline in the first 6 weeks of the season for the New York Mets was a dreadful 12-game losing streak when Juan Soto was out of the lineup. They've dealt with a ton of injuries, but with an easier schedule to start the month of May, some brighter spots with a 5-2 record so far.
Yeah, I'm more of a glass half full than half empty, and I think the Mets are due to make up for the 12-game losing streak and the troubles they've had because their pitching has been so good. Yes, they're going to get Lindor back at some time. Yes, they're going to get some other guys back. But to me, it's about pitching, and their pitching has been better this last week or so. And if they continue to do that, the hitting will come around. Juan Soto's going to hit. Lindor's going to hit. Bo Bichette's going to hit. These guys are going to hit, but if their pitching stays consistent, they can get back into this race.
Meanwhile, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they were the NL champion in 2023, missed the playoffs the last 2 years, but they still had a great offense last year. Where is that offense? They're still seeking it. At least one of the bright spots has been one of the great stories in baseball so far, Ildemaro Vargas, the journeyman.
Well, most people outside of Arizona have never heard of Vargas. 23 different teams he's played for in professional baseball, and all he has done since he's got to Arizona is absolutely match this year. Player of the month in March/April. He's leading the league in hitting. He's leading the league in a lot of offensive categories. This guy has been a bright spot for this organization, and they're going to need him to continue to do that once Marte, once Carroll, and once Perdomo start hitting. But he has been the shining star for the Diamondbacks.
What a great story, and a guy whose teammates really root for him. He's been a staple with a lot of injuries for Arizona as well. He's playing first base. You see Merrill Kelly, the veteran, 37 years of age, who has put together a fantastic career, but this has been one of the worst 3-start stretches in Merrill Kelly's career. Torey Lovullo challenged his starting rotation in Chicago last weekend. The rest of the rotation has responded. Today is Merrill Kelly's opportunity to respond to his manager.
Merrill Kelly, when you talk to Torey Lovullo about him, you see his usage, heavy changeup, four-seamer. He can throw the ball where he wants it, but it's all about rhythm and timing. Can Merrill Kelly find the rhythm and timing? He struggled his last 3 starts. We're going to get into it. But if he can find that rhythm and timing, he has to locate his fastball and use the changeup to keep these Mets hitters off balance.
It's a Mets lineup that has had a tendency to chase a little bit more this year. They struggle against the fastball. Juan Soto came back from the calf injury in April. That's exactly when Francisco Lindor went out. Bichette, Melendez, Vientos has had a very good road trip. The rookie Carson Benj has been a bright spot this week. The veteran Semien won a World Series against Arizona with Texas a few years ago. Beatty, Alvarez, and Taylor rounded out for the Mets, who come in second to last in scoring at just 3.6 runs per game. Trying to find some offense today after a 3-1 extra inning victory last night. And Juan Soto climbs in to start the game tonight, having a laugh with Gabriel Moreno, who threw out a challenge after the first pitch last night and lost it. Soto with a smile there, and he's quickly ahead 2-0. Soto into the leadoff spot for the first time as a New York Met on Monday in Denver. So a change made by Carlos Mendoza this week. Popped up by Soto to the left side, and veteran Nolan Arenado has it for out number 1. Mendoza obviously was on the hot seat, and some perhaps non-committal but still confident language from David Stearns saying that Mendoza is safe in his position as Mets manager. That eases the tension in the clubhouse a little bit. Let's see if that can ease up Bo Bichette, who's been playing a little tight to start his New York Mets tenure. Bases empty, 1 out against Kelly here. And a strike.
One thing you mentioned about the tension with Carlos Mendoza in his situation, it was nice David Stearns came out and said that, but also as a player, you're thinking about yourself. Listen, you want to win for yourself, you want to win for your team, you want to win for your manager.
Bichette flares one towards second. What a leaping grab by Ketel Marte. A smile, a slight one from Kelly as his second baseman back in the lineup tonight makes an excellent defensive play.
Carlos Mendoza said Bo Bichette's been hitting the ball hard, hasn't found any holes. Well, here's another one. Didn't hit this one as hard, but Ketel Marte uses every inch he's got. A little snow cone action. And he brings it down. Another out for Bichette that should have been or could have been a hit.
The 2 up and 2 down for MJ Melendez. Former Kansas City Royal takes outside. Heard a great stat last night. Bichette has the highest defensive runs saved against him in Major League Baseball this year. So that means there has been some excellent defense played on softly hit, hard hit balls that Bichette has hit into the field this year. There have been some outstanding defensive plays made against him. Add that one to the list from Marte. Melendez will take one outside. Hit 18 home runs as a rookie 4 years ago for the Kansas City Royals, former second-round pick of KC. Started the year in AAA at Syracuse. Waves and misses at a 2-1, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, and a chance for Kelly to get out of this first inning. 1-2-3. Two. 3-2. Mets came into action today tied for the second worst record in baseball. Only the Angels have had a worse record this year. Diamondbacks had been hovering around 500 all year, but they have lost 12 of their last 16. And Kelly loses Melendez, who draws a 2-out walk. Arizona started the year 13-8, but just 4-12 ever since. They've lost a lot of close games as of late. Even into a tighter scope. They're 1-7 in their last 8 games. The last 3 games they've lost by a combined 5 runs. Check over to first base. Melendez just got back in safely, and boy, Vargas thought he had that tag on him in time.
Gonna get a quick challenge. Melendez over there fiddling with his oven mitt. That was close. We're gonna have a challenge.
Lance Barksdale, the crew chief.
On at first base.
Veteran umpires behind the plate today and has the mic, so we'll check on that potential pickoff. Vargas was pretty adamant. He felt he got Melendez. A nice move by Kelly.
Kind of catches him going towards, and he's out. I mean, unless there's something that I'm missing there, Adam, he's out.
Well, they're already coming off the field. The Diamondbacks defense is. Yeah. They got to see it on the Jumbotron.
What if they don't overturn it? They'll have to run back.
They'll have to sprint back now.
Water break.
It would be the first pickoff of the season for Kelly and the 17th of his career. He had 5 of them, a career high last year, between Arizona and Texas.
He timed that perfectly, the throw. Absolutely perfectly. Melendez is just hoping.
Tim Lieber even coming over saying, hey, that was a nice move by your glove there, buddy.
I'm just trying to figure out why it's taking
a really long time.
For something that seemed pretty obvious to everybody in the stadium, including the Mets and the Diamondbacks.
After review, the call on the field is on. Runners out. Arizona retains their count.
So that'll retire the side. Pick off by Kelly to get.
We've got the savings to start your new year off right. So come celebrate spring at Harbor Freight.
There's the National League ERA leader, 1.69 through 7 starts, 2 earned runs or less in all of those starts so far for Clay Holmes.
He has been an absolute monster for this Mets. Rotation in just the National League in general, it is just, here I come with sinkers, and he is going to get a ton of ground balls. And that's what changed for him. Carlos Mendoza said he has figured out that I can just throw a sinker and get a ground ball at any point in the game.
Oh, it's out.
Ketel Marte will lead things off for Arizona's lineup. He was scratched yesterday with an illness, so he ended up sitting out. He's back in the leadoff spot today. Geraldo Perdomo had been in the leadoff spot. Marte's back in there. Diamondbacks offense that's averaging a league average in scoring, 4.5 runs per game. Top 6 in baseball last season in scoring, but they have had a tendency to chase a lot as of late. Marte taps one back to Holmes, who waits patiently and has it. And there's one away. I'm trying to get Marte, Carroll, and Perdomo all going. Carroll had a hot start to the season, has cooled off since. Del Castillo, Vargas, and Arenado, who had a home run for the lone Arizona run last night. Gurriel, Moreno, and the first major league start for the first-round pick, Ryan Waldschmidt, who made his MLB debut and got a hit as a pinch hitter last night. He's in center tonight. Corbin Carroll will take a strike. That's one of those good secondary pitches for Holmes, his sweeper that works nicely off the changeup and that excellent sinker.
Clay Holmes has gone to that the kick change.
Kick change.
With seam manipulation, because he had a hard time getting a changeup that would work, and he's found a new grip. It's become a weapon for him. The sweeper you mentioned, the cutter, but when it comes down to it, he's going to throw you a sinker.
Half the time he throws that sinker like he did right there to get a weak foul tap. 1-2 the count. Opponents are hitting 167 off of that sinker, which he uses half the time.
If I had a sinker like the one Clay Holmes has, he should throw it all the time. It is hard to elevate that thing. It is hard to get it up in the air.
He's ahead of Carroll, 1-2. He ropes one to second, but a nice play by the two-time Gold Glover Marcus Semien. 2 up and 2 down on a couple of ground ball outs.
If you're playing defense behind Clay Holmes, you better be ready, because he is going to get ground balls. You're going to be in the action, and this is the kick change. Seam manipulation, trying to get the ball to go down. Corbin Carroll hits it hard, but because it's moving down, hits it hard right into the ground.
So the base is empty for Geraldo Perdomo, who finished 4th in NL MVP voting last year. That one sailed out of Holmes' hand very wide. Perdomo 0 for 5 last night, including a bases loaded opportunity in the 7th and a chance to tie the game in the 10th. With ghost runner at second base, he was almost overly aggressive. Torey Lovello talked about it last night. It's just kind of a microcosm of Arizona's offense, kind of pressing right now. These guys at the top especially, they're all kind of putting the weight of the world on themselves. And I understand it. Marte, Carroll, and Perdomo have been very good hitters overall. All 3 of them kind of feel the need to take it upon themselves, and that has led to some not so great results. Out to center for Taylor, and a 1-2-3 inning work by Clay Holmes. A scoreless first here in Phoenix. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, a grand slam for your budget. 25-year anniversary, the Yankees and Diamondbacks in the World Series. Randy Johnson was in attendance for the game last night. Yankees and D-backs will square off in August. They'll really celebrate it. There is Gonzo, one of the biggest hits of this century in Major League Baseball.
You get to have a little chat with Gonzo today, Adam?
Easiest guys to talk to around the game.
One of the all-time great nice guys. But I was just worried about in between your cookies you were eating that you might not get a word in.
And there's Gonzo, who looks like he's in great shape, and I'm just stuffing my face with a chocolate chip cookie, so it made me feel good.
Yeah, he did not eat a cookie. He was kind of giving me a little bit of the side eye because I was having a chicken sandwich.
Yeah. It's like, you know how many carbs are in that? Mark Vientos goes around. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Vientos, who had a great game yesterday, 2 for 4 with a homer in the 2nd and the go-ahead RBI double in the 10th. Mets would tack on 1 more on a bench RBI, and they ended up winning 3-1. Vientos has had an excellent week. 3 of his 5 home runs have been hit since Sunday. He had 2 in LA and then 1 last night. Almost hit 2 in Denver. A couple of warning track shots. So Vientos getting back to a nice stroke. '27 homers a couple of years ago, just 17 last year. He swings and foul tips it into the glove of the catcher Moreno for out number 1. Kelly gets the strikeout, but Ken Rosenthal, Vientos is a sign of optimism for the Mets to have right now.
Adam, you're right. The Mets are not without hope. 2024, they started 22-33, reached the NLCS. They need to go only 7-10 with this club to match that record, and they're arguably more talented. Then, if you look at Juan Soto's 2019 Washington Nationals, reached the World Series, won the World Series after starting 19-31, and there is 1 extra playoff spot available now than there was then. Now, the problem is the Mets are the 2nd lowest scoring team in the majors, and without their injured hitters, Jorge Polanco, Luis Robert Jr., Francisco Lindor, and others, run production is going to be a challenge.
No Jared Young right now. Ronnie Mauricio, who's got a great glove, he just went to the IL this week, so it's a slew of stars and key rotational pieces right now that are on the IL for New York. So this guy, Carson Benj, the rookie, has stepped into a major role hitting in the middle of this lineup and has shown off a great glove too. Hard hit ball towards right center field. Good beat on it though for the rookie, and Waldschmidt, tested for the first time as a big league defender, makes a nice play. Welcome to the show. He got a hit last night, making his first start tonight.
Watch the jump though. Gets a great jump, reads it right off the bat, direct line to the ball. Gets there fairly easily, Adam. There wasn't a lot of effort. And that's a huge sigh of relief. I didn't drop my first fly ball.
107-mile-an-hour rocket from Benj to a fellow rookie. Waldschmidt, who came up as a corner outfielder, is going to get some run in center now. Here's Marcus Semien, 2 away, and the base is empty.
That's out.
Kelly just misses outside. Of course, Diamondback fans remember Semien's performance in the 2023 World Series. He won the title with the Texas Rangers. Traded for Brandon Nimmo to New York this offseason. Has not gotten off to a great offensive start by any means. Obviously, the glove is still very good. But now in his mid-30s, the numbers have gone down offensively the last couple of years for Semien. And a bunt base hit and a steal last night. And this one he rockets into left field. He'll get aboard with a 2-out single. 102-mile-an-hour shot from Semien there to extend the inning.
Little four-seamer, just drifts back to the inner half, and Marcus Semien still can hit a fastball. You make a mistake, he will get to it still. They need him to get going. They need him to kind of reverse what people are calling the aging process for Marcus Semien. They need him to be offensive. I'm not saying he needs to go back to 5 years ago when he was having unbelievable years, but he's at least got to be a presence in this lineup.
He's aboard to extend the inning to the lefty Brett Beatty. First pitch swinging out towards right center field. Corbin Carroll's not going to get there, and it's going to scoop past him to the wall. Semien can still move. He's on his way home, and a 2-out RBI double for Beatty gives New York the lead in the second. Another 100-mile-an-hour shot. Some hard hit balls off of Merrill Kelly in this inning, and Beatty cashes in.
Brett Beatty ultra aggressive here. First pitch. Ball is just up. And center cut. And I thought Corbin Carroll had a shot. But once he couldn't cut this ball off, Marcus Semien knew he was scoring very easily. Nice piece of hitting there. That ball was about as middle as you can get. Adam, you could have hit this one, I think. That was middle as middle gets right there.
If I weren't busy eating cookies, I'm sure I could. There's Alvarez taking a strike. Well, this has been kind of a theme, though, for Merrill Kelly. We'll get a challenge here.
The strike call.
ABS, powered by T-Mobile's network. Ooh, that's about as close as you're gonna get. Oh my goodness! Wow, that's about as close as I think we've seen all year.
That's just luck to me. I mean, I know he challenged it.
I agree with
when
you.
you're a 1/10 of an inch, that's just I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to hope.
The catcher Alvarez getting the call his way. Ends up bouncing this one to the left side. The third baseman and 10-time Gold Glover Arenado throws out Alvarez, but a 2-out, 2-bagger from Brett Beatty. Scored the go-ahead run last night, gives the Mets the lead tonight. Mets generate a run with 2 outs from the bottom half of their order. Beatty drives in Semien, and it's 1-0 New York. Adrian Del Castillo will climb in against Clay Holmes, who works for the lead and pours in a strike to the 26-year-old from Miami, known as ADC. Torey Lovullo is trying to get some more at bats for as the Diamondbacks deal with some injuries. Carlos Santana, Pavin Smith, both on the IL right now. Del Castillo swings, launches one deep to right field. Back on it is Benj at the wall, and it's gone to tie the game. Oh, is it off the top of the fence? Beg your pardon. Not a home run. Just off the top of the fence. Benj gave it a great effort to try to snare it. It ends up just climbing short of clearing the fence, and it's a double.
When he hit this, I thought it was gone. The way he reacted, the way everyone reacted at bench. I love the look on the lady's face and the kid. But great camera shots there. But Benj got back there, and he kind of jumped a little bit early, mistimed his jump, and that was just short of being a homer.
So now Ildemaro Vargas goes chasing at one of those Clay Holmes sinkers, and it's 0-1. A double for Del Castillo to get into scoring position right out of the gate for the major league leader in hitting. Ildemaro Vargas, a 1-for-5 night last night, but still hitting .353 to lead Major League Baseball. The National League Player of the Month for March and April. Taps that one. What a snare by Holmes. A second nice play made by the pitcher. Will throw a little off, but Vientos is there to snare it for the first out. That, more importantly, keeps Del Castillo at second base.
Nice play by Clay Holmes on this ball. This ball's hit fairly hard. If you're a sinker baller, you better be able to field your position at him, because if you're not, you're going to give up so many ground balls that can sneak through. Clay Holmes makes a nice play here. Looks the runner back, almost throws it away. Vientos over at first, goes and gets it and touches first.
So now Arenado.
That's out.
Takes a breaking ball outside. Arenado got off to a rocky start in his first season with Arizona after being traded from the Cardinals, but you see his turnaround, which began in Philadelphia after he was pinch hit for by then manager Rob Thompson.
It's down.
I was just thinking of Rob Thompson more than anything else. I don't know why I said it that way.
It's okay.
They ended up opting to pinch hit for him in a big spot.
I know why.
He was frustrated, yeah.
Because Ed Svita sitting next to you.
No longer the
biggest
manager,
Philly fans ever.
Don Mattingly now taking over there, but Nolan Arenado got pinch hit for by Torey Lovullo, and since then he's gone back to the hitting coaches. He's talked about what he wants to change, and whatever the changes were, the approach has been a lot different. He's found a power stroke. His eye's been a little bit sharper. Hit a home run last night, and now a 4-pitch walk from Holmes, and there are 2 aboard with 1 away.
That was almost the old intentional walk right there. To almost set up a force play here with Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Try to get a double play with one of those ground balls that Clay Holmes is known for.
Here's Gurriel, who came back in April from that ACL injury he suffered in September. Well ahead of schedule he came back. Gurriel takes way inside for ball 1. Playing in just his 15th game since the return. Right ACL injury in September.
Down.
2 balls and no strikes. That was a close pitch, and we'll get a challenge from
The catcher's
Alvarez.
challenging the ball call.
Alvarez, who had the first ever successful ABS challenge back in March will be successful here and overturn that one to a strike.
He's 2 for 2 today.
Once at the plate and once behind it.
Lance Barksdale is going to go behind him in his ear and say, man, quit getting these right.
I agree with you. The first one was a was a little lucky. That one was pretty clear cut. 1-1 pitch coming to Gurriel. Pulls it foul.
This is what's so hard when you face Clay Holmes. You want to get the ball elevated. He just doesn't throw you anything that helps you elevate it. And Francisco Alvarez is about 50-50, a little bit above the 50-50 mark.
Just about league average. League average 53% overturn rate so far. 2 on and 1 out here in the second. Gurriel on a breaking ball pulls it to the same spot.
But again, another ground ball. Everything Clay Holmes throws is going down. Going down. It's so hard to get him into the air.
Wow, he froze it with that sweeper. Now Gurriel's going to challenge.
Their hitter is challenging the strike call.
I think this was a strike. He just scared Gurriel, so he wanted to challenge it to try it. I mean, that's.
Call us an interim strike 3 to batters out. Arizona loses 1 challenge.
Well, that's a pretty impressive ball to strike sweeper from Clay Holmes that drops in to freeze Gurriel for an out.
Well, he never saw this. Watch his reaction. He's, whoa, that's going to hit me. And then after Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire rings him up. He's like, might as well.
Remember, the Alvarez challenge turned it from 2-0 to 1-1, and that helps Holmes get back into it. He ends up striking out Gurriel. And now 2 down with 2 aboard for Moreno. We'll take 1 down the middle for a strike. A couple of walks last night in the opener for the Arizona catcher. Fastballs in there, looked at for strikes, and it's 0-2 on Moreno. And Holmes with an opportunity to get out of this inning after the leadoff double from Del Castillo and the walk to Arenado. Ground foul. It is Star Wars night at Chase Field, and Gabriel Moreno is the Mandalorian bobblehead. It's got to be quite the thrill. He's got Grogu sitting there with him. We were pleased to see a lightsaber duel before the game tonight. Yanked that that sweeper to the outside, and Alvarez with a nice stop to keep the runners at bay.
It was a long lightsaber duel they had. Those 2 guys were worn out.
So it was a cardio extravaganza for those 2. Moreno, the Gold Glover in 2023, was part of that incredible playoff run, so key in so many of those games and series for Arizona to get to the World Series. And he sends one deep to left field, sending Soto back to the track. He's got it to end the inning, and Clay Holmes, despite a couple of men aboard with only 1 out, gets out of the inning with no damage.
To Phoenix here with Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo. Torey, some hard contact against Merrill Kelly that last inning. What did you see?
I just think he made a mistake cutter to Beatty with a man on first base, and unfortunately it found the right spot and resulted in a run. But so far so good. I think he's been on the attack and he's throwing the ball pretty good.
We're going to see leading off the next inning Ryan Waldschmidt, your top prospect, making his first major league start. What can fans expect to see from him?
Yeah, first of all, we're really excited about his development. So many people have touched him and helped him get to this point, but we're going to enjoy the ride with him. He's a quality contact guy, drives up pitch counts by seeing the baseball and controlling the count. So we're really anxious to see what it looks like today for sure.
Torey, thanks a lot. Adam, back to you.
Thanks so much, Kenny. Tyrone Taylor retired to start this inning on a fly ball to Corbin Carroll. Waldschmidt will, as Kenny mentioned, lead off the bottom of the 3rd for Arizona. Back to the top of the Mets order. Juan Soto popped out to Arenado to begin the game. Take one outside from Merrill Kelly. It was an interesting conversation with Torey Lovullo talking about Kelly's mechanics, trying to get synced up with all of his movements. He's been frustrated, understandably so. 37 years of age, has had a long and winding road to get to this point. He was with the Diamondbacks his entire career until being traded to Texas at the deadline last year and came back to Arizona this year. Won his first start of the season after an injury to begin the campaign and an intercostal strain, so he ended up missing what would have been an opening day start. Soto pops up another one. Waldschmidt, the long run in from center to retire Soto. 2 up and 2 down here in the third. And since that first win in Baltimore, Kelly losses to Chicago, Milwaukee, and Chicago. The White Sox and the Cubs in that stretch.
And he's had a rough, you mentioned a rough 3-game stretch. Said the worst 3-game stretch of his career, but 19 runs in 13 2/3. That'll make you change some things and reassess where you're at. And he's been working hard. He's been trying to find his timing. Pitching is a lot like hitting. Got to have rhythm and timing. He works every day at it. So far, he's really only made the one mistake.
Bichette fouls the first pitch. Beatty double to bring in Semien. In the second inning, the lone run. You see the last 3 outings. Fastball and changeup haven't really played the way they did last season. Opponents hit about 200, just over 200 against both of those pitches last year. Against the fastball, teams are hitting about 450. Against the changeup, 333 this year. There's a 1-1-2 Bichette. He goes chasing after that slider. It's been a problem for the Mets this year compared to last. They've been chasing a lot more.
Good breaking ball here. Bottom just falls out of it. Bichette way out in front.
Tried it again. He laid off of it this time.
One thing about Merrill Kelly, he's not going to overwhelm you with velocity, so he has to be really pinpoint with his control. And if he gets a little bit off with his mechanics, that can lead to him not being able to throw the ball where he wants it. 92, 93, that's a big difference from 97 to 98. So he has to be perfect.
There's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Kelly, who at his best can pinpoint it wherever he wants to throw it. It feels like Torey Lovullo says when he's going, he can do that. When he struggles, he starts to nibble. That leads to some tougher contact. Got Bichette at 3-2.
This will tell you what Merrill Kelly thinks of his stuff, this pitch right here. Does he challenge him with trying to locate a fastball, or does he throw a changeup or a breaking ball to try to fool him?
It is a payoff pitch to Bichette, and he brought a changeup home that gets fouled away.
During games, if you're watching the game as a hitter, the pitcher will tell you what he has confidence in. In the sequence of pitches, when you get to 3-2, which is really the payoff pitch, he went changeup. He's already thrown him everything else. He had not thrown him a changeup. He wanted him to end the at-bat right there. And Bo Bichette lived to fight another pitch.
The 8th of this at-bat. And it's outside, and Bichette draws a 2-out walk. Another 2-out base runner for the Mets. Let's all play ball. Don't miss Play Ball Weekend coming up on June 5th through the 7th, encouraging youth everywhere to get out and play. You can visit playball.org to register for a free event near you today. Melendez walked with 2 outs in the first. Semien and Beatty teamed up for a 2-out run in the second, and now a 2-out walk to Bichette here in the third. And Melendez swings at the first one. Waldschmidt ranging back towards the track. He's there. And the inning is over, and he'll have his second major league plate appearance on the other side of the break. He'll lead off the bottom of the third. Here is the Diamondbacks' #1 prospect, Ryan Waldschmidt, who made his major league debut last night as a pinch hitter and got a base hit to start his big league career. Making his first major league start tonight, has already made some solid plays in center. And he'll look at a home sinker down and away. There is the first hit. His big league career. family in attendance tonight, just as they were here last night. Pretty cool that he's got his dad Jeff, his mom Susan, his brother Logan in attendance tonight. Logan, a pitcher at the University of New Orleans, actually asked his coach to take off this weekend. They're supposed to play Texas A&M Corpus Christi this weekend in a series, but as soon as Logan called his coach, he told him what was going on. He said, "You got to go. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Go watch his older brother by 1 year making his major league debut." Fouls this one. It's 2-2 on Walshman.
Now, can you imagine being that coach saying, "Nah, we're gonna need you to stick around"?
Yeah, I asked Logan, I was like, "Were you scheduled to pitch?" He goes, "I'm a reliever, so you know it could be at any time," but he was more than willing to give it up. His dad was with him because they're getting ready for the end of the school year, so Jeff was going to help Logan pack up some stuff to bring back home. So together they came from New Orleans to Phoenix.
The catcher's challenging the ball call.
So it was called a ball. Waldschmidt comes to the big leagues with a pedigree for plate discipline. He laid off that one, but Francisco Alvarez is having a money start to this day on challenges, and he overturns this one to a strikeout.
He's on fire.
3 for 3. You see the rate for the catchers, obviously the ones, as you would contend as well, know the strike zone better than anybody.
Smartest people on the field, most athletic people on the field, and the best looking at them. Just, it's the trifecta.
Is that written somewhere? I did not see
It is.
all those declarations.
You must be reading the wrong book.
The scrolls of AJ, apparently. So Holmes gets the strikeout, his second, and the first time through the order. Back to the top in Marte. Marte grounded out back to Holmes in the first. He'll take a strike, and it's a 1-2. He's been hitting just over 200 in his first 35 games this year. He's had a ton of hard hit outs. He's been very unlucky this year. We talked about Marte for Arizona and Bichette for New York. Two guys that have hit the ball hard. They've hit it good spots. But whether it's been great defense or just some bad luck, they have not seen their numbers where they want them to be. Another bouncer right back to Holmes. He fields another one and retires Marte for the second out of the third.
That's twice now he's gotten Marte way out balanced and hitting high choppers back to Clay Holmes. You know, breaking ball, curve ball going down. You see how out in front Marte is. He's trying to pull this ball, rolls it over. And as a hitter, you see that ball go high like that, you're thinking, just get over the pitcher's head. I got a chance. And when the pitcher catches it, you know you're in trouble.
Ball one to Corbin Carroll. He'll turn 26 later this year. And the hamate bone injury back in February. Came back from it, and it didn't really affect his offense from the start of the season. He got off to a very solid start. And as we said, he's cooled off since. 4 for his last 27. It was wild. We saw a slew of those hamate bone injuries. Francisco Lindor had one. Carroll, Jackson Holiday, all within about a week of each other in February. And they're ramping up for the season.
What's amazing is Carroll and Lindor came back from theirs fairly quickly. Jackson Holiday has not come back from his yet.
Lindor's on the IL due to the calf injury. Dealing with a calf strain right now. Still waiting on him. He's supposed to get an MRI next week and get an update on his prognosis. Carroll did have a double yesterday. Did have a home run on Thursday against Pittsburgh. Bangs this one on the ground past Semien into right field, and a 2-out knock for Corbin Carroll. Second hit of the night for Arizona. So that'll bring up Geraldo Perdomo. As we talked about, his couple of at-bats, his last 2 at-bats, kind of a microcosm of how the Diamondbacks have been offensively, kind of pressing in big spots.
Yes, and for someone like Perdomo, who's usually very patient to go after these pitches in big spots, is very unlike him. But that's what happens when you look up. You're into May. You look up and you see your numbers. They're not where that you think they should be. So yes, you do press a little bit. It's the easiest thing in the world for someone not playing to say, "Oh, it'll come. Take it easy. Don't try too hard." But when you're standing in that batter's box, all you're thinking about is, "I have to get a hit so my numbers get going."
Misses outside. Perdomo, as it stands, he's considered to be the leader of the infield and one of the leaders of this team. And a lot of guys in those positions often take it upon themselves to try to single-handedly turn things around. Time was called. Oh, Alvarez was able to snare that one. That was on line for Barksdale, who was stepping out to call time. Time was granted. You saw Perdomo kind of tap his chest towards Clay Holmes, maybe knowing that was a little bit of a late time call. Mendoza calling out for the Mets dugout.
One thing you don't have to worry about with Clay Holmes is stolen bases. He is one of the quickest to the plate. Lance Barksdale is not going to have any more of someone in the Mets dugout yelling at him. That's late.
Very late, yeah. That's where the frustrations came. There's a strike.
But Clay Holmes does not give up stolen bases. 0 this year in his 7 starts. He is very quick to the plate. He is very tough to run on. He has a nice move. Does a really good job.
Perdomo slices one the other way towards the gap. That will be cut off by Soto, but that's going to allow Carroll to get into third. That play by Soto will hold Perdomo to a single as he raced over to the gap. But back-to-back 2-out knocks for the Diamondbacks, who are threatening in the bottom of the third.
You mentioned it, Adam. If they don't score in this inning, put a little star next to this play by Juan Soto. Him cutting this ball off and keeping Corbin Carroll from scoring was a really nice play. Much like when the Mets scored, Corbin Carroll wasn't able to cut off Beatty's ball, and therefore Simeon scored. Nice job by Juan Soto, who takes a lot of heat for his defense sometimes. But right there, he made a nice play.
Still 2 outs for Del Castillo. You see his numbers with runners in scoring position. Diamondbacks entered the weekend with the best average with runners in scoring position in Major League Baseball at 297. But that average has gone down as of late, and they're 0 for 8 in this series. They left 8 on base last night. And that's been a common theme as of late for Torey Lovullo's crew. They have scored just 16 runs in their last 6 games, 9 of which came in 1 game, a victory over the Pirates this week. Backdoor breaking ball drops in for a strike to even the count. I don't know if it was the Arizona dugout that was saying that was high, that was high. And it dropped in for a strike.
Well, as umpires have learned to say now,
oh, no. There we go.
If you don't like it, challenge it.
No swing that time for Del Castillo, according to Ryan Wills. 2 on, 2 out. Holmes left a couple of men stranded in the second, trying to do the same in the third. Del Castillo trying to get the Diamondbacks on the board. Big swing and a miss on a fastball. It's 2-2. A 2-time All-Star as the Yankees closer, now in his 2nd year as a starting pitcher with the New York Mets. 2-2.
Oh, no, there we go.
Did not go. Good stop by Alvarez. Big lead from Perdomo off of first, and Alvarez loves to throw back behind runners at first base. He was thinking about throwing as Perdomo had advanced a little bit, but then raced back.
Did not go, I don't think. Nice stop by Alvarez. I love Lance Barksdale checking right away. Look how quick he checks. Perdomo trying to get sneaky. Also, he thinks he might have to run, but he gets back. I love that, though, from Lance Barksdale. Check right away.
Perdomo will be off from first on this 3-2 pitch. Runners at the corners and 2 outs. Went back to the breaking ball and misses it low. That'll load the bases for Major League Baseball's top hitter so far in Ildemaro Vargas. And Justin Willard will come out to chat with Holmes, and here comes Vargas. What a story he has been. Our player profile is sponsored by Liberty Mutual. Guy who was signed by the St. Louis Cardinals in June of 2008. He's been with 6 major league teams, including his 3rd stint with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Got released by the Cardinals after 6 minor league years. He spent time in independent baseball in the Atlantic League with the Bridgeport Bluefish. He's been with Arizona 3 times, Minnesota, the Cubs, Pittsburgh, Washington. Now in his 2nd year back with Arizona. How do you keep coming back? How do you last this long? He avoids strikeouts for the most part. He's a very capable and versatile defender. He's a switch hitter, and managers and young players especially love the influence that Vargas has on them. Vargas bounced back to Holmes on 1 pitch in his first at bat. Got the bases loaded here, and he'll watch this one low. And snare by Alvarez on a fastball that got away from Holmes.
By the way, Clay Holmes, this has become the new thing in Major League Baseball. Perdomo right there, he's signaling to Vargas that he has the pitches. See him right there?
Yep.
Fastball. He waits until Clay Holmes, he stands on the base until Clay Holmes goes into his glove. He checks the thing and fastball.
It is down the middle, or on the edge, and it is a strike. And it's 2-1.
I don't know how you stop that unless you completely change your grip, and Clay Holmes is aware of it. I just don't know how you can stop it. In the old days, you'd say, all right, well, I'm just going to hit you. But they don't do that anymore, so I don't know how you stop it. Fastball again.
On the ground, left side. That is through a base hit. Carroll scores. Perdomo's behind him. Giving the signs to Vargas and making it pay. Vargas drives in a pair, and Arizona's got the lead in the 3rd.
When you know what's coming, it's a lot easier. And this is how you lead the league in hitting for a month and a half. Get a fastball a little bit elevated, and you shoot it right where they aren't. 2-run score. Now they have a guy on second again, Adam, and we get to watch this. And Clay Holmes is thinking, man, I got the ground ball just not in the right spot.
Here's Arenado, and he fouls the first pitch. We've seen more and more of that. Sometimes it's a fake signal. Sometimes it's just to distract the defense. But oftentimes, if you've got something and you can give it to your teammate, guys are doing it.
If you ever want to know how much baseball has changed over the years, back in the day, it would just be, hey, we're hitting you, and we're going to hit the next guy and the next guy if you keep doing it. Now guys do it, and they have no fear of doing it.
A long inning for Holmes. His 28th pitch of the inning is a breaking ball that dives outside and low.
What's interesting, though, is Del Castillo at second is not doing it. So maybe Arenado does not want to know what's coming, which some guys didn't want to know.
Some guys may not feel confident in signaling. Some guys may not feel like they're 100% confident in knowing, hey, I know what that grip is. I know they don't want to give the wrong information to their teammate.
But this is different than pitch tipping. This is pitch signaling, basically. Yeah. I don't know if you're Clay Holmes, what you can do different. You got to change your whole glove setup, everything in the middle of an inning. It's not happening.
It's foul, 2-2 on Arenado. And 4 straight 2-out base runners against Holmes. It started with the Carroll single. Perdomo followed it up. Del Castillo walked. And then Vargas drives in a pair to give the Diamondbacks the lead. This will be the 31st pitch of the 3rd inning for Holmes. That's a season high for any inning he's thrown. And it's off the end of the bat out towards center field for Taylor. That'll retire the side, but Vargas comes through with a little help from his friends. A 2-run single, and Arizona's got the lead to the middle innings.
At Jersey.
Well, some sad news to hear around the baseball world. Bobby Cox passed away today at the age of 84. Top 4 in wins all time, and one of the men most responsible for taking the Braves into their modern era of success. And obviously a longtime rival of the New York Mets. He passed away earlier today at the age of 84. Mark Vientos leading it off here in the 4th inning. There is a ball.
Big loss, not only in the Braves community, but also in Major League Baseball. I was fortunate to play my last 2 seasons for the Atlanta Braves.
As Vientos grounds to Marte, 1-down.
And Bobby Cox was around a lot. And he would come to the ballpark and he'd just sit there and it was a great conversation about life, about baseball. And he had a couple simple rules that he was big into. One was you had to be able to see the A, and you had to wear your hat forward at all times. You had to wear your batting practice jersey when you were there, and it carried over to Freddie Gonzalez and then Brian Snitker for years and years. But the best part about Bobby Cox, honestly, besides the human being, was he stood up for his guys. He ejected. There were so many stories I've heard from Braves guys that played for Bobby and say, Bobby, this umpire's, he's not right today. And Bobby would immediately just run out there on the next pitch and get ejected to stand up for his guys. And that's what being a manager is about being there for your guys, supporting them in any way possible. And he will be missed, not only in Braves country, but throughout Major League Baseball.
He was ejected 162 times exactly, basically the entire length of one Major League Baseball season, the most all time. Of course, helped shepherd baseball back to the American fold in 2001. As Benj again sends it out to the fellow rookie and Walt Schmidt. 2 up and 2 down here in the 4th inning. The first game after September 11th attacks in 2001 played in New York. It was the Mets and the Braves, and Bobby Cox was a part of that as well. Ken Rosenthal, you of course can add.
Guys, I don't know if I can recall anyone in recent baseball history who has had as big an impact on his franchise as Bobby Cox. People forget, he was the general manager who oversaw the development of Tom Glavine, who traded for John Smoltz, who drafted Chipper Jones, and then he became the manager who led the Braves to 14 straight division titles and a World Series championship. And AJ, you touched on it. His players revered him. Andruw Jones today called him a second father. Tom Glavine did the same, and so many Braves over the years felt that way.
1-0 on Marcus Semien. Thank you for that, Ken. He sends the ball out towards center for Waldschmidt. Has to trail back a little bit further back. He's got it. And a 9-pitch 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. A loss today of one of the great baseball men, Bobby Cox. We wish the best to his family and friends. 2-1 Arizona to the bottom of the 4th inning. Clay Holmes deals to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. It takes a strike to start the frame.
Clay Holmes coming off a rough, long inning with 31 pitches. 30 the first 2, then 31 pitches the 3rd inning. A couple runs. Long inning.
And then it was just a 9-pitch inning thrown by Merrill Kelly, so not a lot of rest time for Holmes after the laborious 3rd. He had to come right back out for the 4th. 1-1 pitch. Gurriel tips it into the glove of Alvarez. Arizona, as you mentioned, faced the Pirates earlier this week. had to face Paul Skeens, who pitched fabulously. Took a perfect game into the 6th inning before Gurriel broke it up. Diamondbacks have not had a series win in their last 5 chances. There's a bouncing ball to Semien at second. And 1 away in the 4th. White Sox 2 against the Padres in Mexico City. 3 in Milwaukee. Swept by the Cubs at Wrigley and then lost 2 of 3 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've lost 12 of their last 16 after the loss last night. They're in a tough stretch. They're in the midst of 22 games in 23 days. They'll get a little bit of schedule help coming up. They got to go to Texas coming up, and then they'll face the Rockies and Giants for a combined 13 games coming up. 2 teams below them in the National League West. They're right in the middle right now with the Padres and Dodgers ahead of them.
They need to have, they need to find offense. Gabriel Moreno is one who's shown flashes. Ketel Marte not having the year that we expect from him. Corbin Carroll coming off an injury in spring training, got off to a hot start, has been struggling. You mentioned Perdomo. That's the thing. This Diamondback team was supposed to be a team that could score a bunch of runs and put pressure on you, hit home runs, go first to third, do all these things. And so far this year, it's been a weird year for them.
1-2 pitch to Moreno, and he goes chasing. That's been a major problem as well for Arizona as of late. The 3rd Holmes strikeout. 2 down in the 4th. Take a look at some sleeper picks. They're brought to you by Mattress Firm. Talked about some names that have to step up. Well, here's some guys that have stepped up that maybe haven't had the chance to show off their stuff in front of the country as often. Mickey Moniak finding a new home in Colorado. Otto Lopez and Ben Rice. Obviously, the Yankees offense starting to get back on track, but Ben Rice had been very consistent while guys like Stanton and Judge caught up to pace.
Well, Moniak was the 1-1 pick in the draft.
Yep.
So he's been waiting on this for a while. He goes to Colorado's figured out Ben Rice. Yankees think he's going to be a superstar.
Yep.
They won't even catch him. That's how much of a star they think he's going to be. And all Otto Lopez does this year is just get hits.
For a Marlins team that in the NL East had kind of been right in the middle of things. Philadelphia had worked itself back towards the middle. It's Atlanta and Washington at the top of the NL East. The Mets are in the cellar right now despite the 5-2 week. 2 balls and a strike on the rookie. Number 31 pick in 2024. Schmidt fouls one away.
Braves.
Best record in baseball at 26-13.
And then the rest of the team's under 500. Don Mattingly has come in and he's got some schedule help, as we like to talk about, but they have been really good since he's taken over, and nobody can beat the Cubs, especially at Wrigley.
15 straight they've won at home. They won again for their 10th straight win overall last night in Fort Worth. Waldschmidt goes down swinging, his 2nd strikeout of the night. And 1-2-3 Holmes 4th. Kelly comes back out.
Verizon Small.
Originally from Houston, Texas, and off to Desert Mountain High School in Scottsdale. 37 years of age. Merrill Kelly goes to work with a lead in the 5th inning. It's 2-1. Brett Beatty responsible for the lone run with an RBI double in the 2nd off of Kelly, who already signs some improvement today. Beatty checks his swing, but it's a strike anyway. 0-2 quickly on the Mets' 3rd baseman, who has been slotted in there after Bo Bichette had to slide over to take over at shortstop after multiple injuries at that position for New York. Obviously, Lindor, the shortstop, when he got hurt, Mauricio took over, and then he got hurt. And Beatty goes down on 3 pitches. And is now 5 straight retired by Merrill Kelly.
No breaking ball here, just 80 way out in front. Little slider, back foot. He didn't look comfortable that at bat. He's talking to the umpire, calling timeout. And Merrill Kelly took full advantage of it.
Put him away on 3 tosses. Now Francisco Alvarez grounded out his first time up. A base hit last night as the DH. Now a 7-game hit streak for Alvarez, and he waves and misses at a slider. .25 home runs in 2023 as a rookie from Alvarez. Dealt with a bunch of injuries last year. Alvarez did not love that call, but it's a strike, and it's 0-2 against him. Alvarez went down to a knee just to get a piece of that changeup. Kelly, who went to Yavapai College, then Arizona State, helped the Sun Devils get to the College World Series a decade and a half ago. Alvarez went around. He gets rung up by Will Little at first base. There's the 3rd strikeout for Kelly. Back-to-back to start the 5th. You can score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. MLBshop.com. The official source for your favorite team gear.
Diamondbacks have a lot of uniforms.
They had the Serpientes City Connect jerseys last night, which I'm a fan of.
They have the most colors, I think, in Major League Baseball.
Definitely.
Also.
Across the entirety of the spectrum. And then the purple and kind of aqua blue last night. Old school Diamondback jersey. There's some of the new school colors. Taylor pops it up, and out of room is Vargas.
Sedona red, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I don't know what the blue's called though. It's not the Honolulu blue they like to use in Detroit of all places. I feel like the Diamondbacks have switched uniforms more than any other team.
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? And I honestly, I've liked just about all of them.
Yes.
1-1 pitch pulled on the ground. That's a fair ball, hugging the line from Taylor. He's gunning for extra bases with plenty of speed. He'll cruise into second base with a stand-up 2-out double. The 2-out base runners continue to pile up for New York. They've had a 2-out base runner in 4 of the 5 innings so far tonight. And a man in scoring position on Kelly. That's the tying run in Taylor.
Just gets out in front of this ball, and if you get it past Nolan Arenado, you're doing something. And breaking ball. Easy double for Tyrone Taylor. Not much to that. Just clipped it out front, rolled it down the line.
And he gives Juan Soto a chance. The man in scoring position and 2 outs in the 5th.
Bumped out.
So do you challenge Soto here? If you're Merrill Kelly, do you take a chance? I'm thinking he's not going to give him anything to hit. Take your chance with Bo Bichette on deck. Not a knock on Bo Bichette, but the numbers are the numbers.
I was going to say, especially if he gets behind 2-0. That was a close pitch, and it's going to go Soto's way.
Soto's telling Gabriel Moreno, go ahead, challenge it.
Challenge it if you want to, yeah.
See, there we go.
Yeah, so they're doing, once you get behind 2-0 on Soto, and I'm with you. I wonder if Soto had even kind of talked Moreno out of challenging that, if he was laughing with him a little behind the plate after what we saw to start the game yesterday. But he got behind 2-0 and just says, all right, take first base, and I'm going to go after Bichette.
Now, if there's one thing that Mets fans will tell you the last couple of years, Juan Soto hasn't been great with runners in scoring position. But I'm still taking the chance with Bo Bichette. Right on right. And not, I don't want to face that guy.
Let's see if Bichette takes it personally enough to deliver. Got robbed of a base hit by Marte in the 1st and walked in the 3rd. Goes after the first pitch, sends a fly ball to left, but not enough. Gurriel's going to have it. And a smart move by Kelly and the D-backs. We're halfway through on this Saturday afternoon in Phoenix. And Arizona's got the lead. It's 2-1 on baseball night in America. Greatest spectacle in racing is coming just about 2 weeks away from the 110th running of the Indy 500. Don't miss the pageantry and tradition of the biggest race in motorsports, May 24th, Sunday on Fox. Top of the Diamondbacks order here in the 5th with a 2-1 lead. Marte leads things off after grounding out to Holmes each of his first 2 times up. He's behind in the count, 0-1. Holmes bounced back in the 4th after the 31-pitch 3rd with a 13-pitch 1-2-3 4th inning. 75 tosses. The 33-year-old from Alabama. In his 2nd year as a starter, pitched about 165 innings last year. Just a few innings shy of 50 so far this season. Down. And a 2-1 count on Marte. Has not given up 3 earned runs in an outing so far this year. Mets pitching, in particular the top of their rotation, has been pretty strong. Freddie Peralta, Holmes obviously the NL ERA leader, and then last night Nolan McLean, 6 innings of 1-run baseball. He's a Rookie of the Year candidate in the NL. Marte pops it up, shallow left, and then triangle. It'll be the left fielder Soto for the first out. We know about Holmes' sinker. Let's dive deeper into it. A pitcher profile sponsored by Wendy's.
Well, he normally gets ground balls with this pitch right there, middle. This one's just a ground ball that gets through. Perdomo, a really nice piece of hitting. And this is, I mean, yes, he knew what was coming. That ball's off the plate away. Again, another ground ball that finds holes. A lot of hits off Clay Holmes' sinker tonight. Haven't been well located, but you know what he has done? He's gotten 4 punchies. They're all on his sweeper. So maybe he's making a little bit of an adjustment with 2 strikes, saying, hey, they're on my sinker. I'm going to throw the sweeper. He's given up 2 runs. Again, the Vargas hit was just a ground ball. The Diamondbacks did a really nice job of stringing hits together off Clay Holmes, which is exactly what teams have not been able to do off of him. That's why he's came into this game leading the league in ERA.
Those 4 straight 2-out base runners to generate those 2 runs in the 3rd. 2-0 on Corbin Carroll on the ground to first and scooped up nicely by Vientos. Kenny, maybe that's part of the maturation process for Clay Holmes. Again, just year number 2 as a starter.
Adam, you mentioned it. 165 2/3 innings last year, and that gave Holmes the confidence he could get through a full season as a starter. No longer is he worried about making 32 starts. He told me he's simply trying to throw 1-inning shutouts, and he feels so good physically. He has 0 hesitation about anything. AJ, you talked about the sinker. Holmes feels so good about that pitch. He's increased the usage this year from 40% to about 50%. And today, even with the 4 hits, he's at 62% entering this inning. He's feeling good.
About 50 out of the 80-plus pitches he's thrown have been a sinker so far today. Again, he gets the ground balls for the most part. You see his splits in his career, going from reliever to starter. He's retired the top 2 guys in the Diamondbacks order here in the 5th, and now faces Perdomo and pours in a strike.
I said this earlier, if I had Clay Holmes' sinker, I'd throw it all the time too. The one thing you have to understand about being a sinker ball is you're going to give up hits because guys are going to put the ball in play. Now you just have to have your defense catch it. And even tonight, that was an example. Corbin Carroll's hit, Vargas's hit. They were just ground balls that found holes.
Yep. Perdomo. There's another strike. The sweeper that time, and it's 0-2. A chance for a 1-2-3 inning from Holmes. Oh, 2. He did fade a little bit in the middle of the season, and he talked about it last year in his first year as a starter. You know, you hit a little bit of a wall in that adjustment. He finished the season very strong, and obviously he's come out very sharp to begin his 2026 campaign. He's already pitched into the 7th inning a couple of times this year after only doing it once all of last season.
That's how you know a guy is making the transition. Go deep into games. over the long season, not just here and there. He's going deep into every game. And you mentioned he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any start.
And he freezes Perdomo with a fastball on the inside corner to end a 1-2-3 fifth inning. 7 straight retired by Holmes as we played 5 in Phoenix.
100 years.
Well, Merrill Kelly so far so good. Just 1 run allowed through 5 innings of work. 3, 4, and 5 for the Mets due up here in the 6th. Then Jay Melendez will take a ball. Last week in Chicago, when the Diamondbacks were facing the Chicago Cubs, Torey Lovullo brought all 5 starters into his office at Wrigley Field and had one message for them, and he put it very simply and succinctly, said throw strikes, with I'm sure a few choice words tossed in as well. About a 57% strike rate so far through 5 innings for Kelly today. And here he's behind of Melendez 3-0. So far, a lot of the starters responded well. Zach Gallen pitched well against Pittsburgh in a loss. Eduardo Rodriguez and Michael Soroka pitched well. Ryan Nelson looked great last night. And now Kelly trying to join the party tonight. There's a strike.
If only it was that simple.
Right.
How many of us, I have a child that plays baseball and 10 to 12 years old. How many times the parents yell, just throw strikes. Right? Just what I love about that meeting, though, is what Torey also said. He let them talk.
Yeah.
I had Torey as a bench coach in Boston, and he's a great communicator. And one of the things he did was he would come every day and he'd talk to you. How you feeling? How you doing? And he does that as a manager. He walks around, he talks to everybody, but he let the pitchers talk and give their feelings too. And he said he left that meeting feeling better. And so far, the results have been good.
Melendez strokes 1 foul, still 3-2.
And what did he say about Merrill Kelly?
So it was
he had a hoodie on?
Yeah, Merrill Kelly had a hoodie on. And again, Merrill is very frustrated, understandably so, after his last 3 starts. He was wearing a hoodie, and as you know, the conversation got a little deeper and maybe a little at times uncomfortable. Kelly threw his hoodie on over his head as Melendez flies one out to right field. Carroll is there. He's got it for the first out in the 6th. And he was joking around with us. Now, he had the hoodie out. This might have been what the conversation at Wrigley looked like as well. But as Kelly was getting a little frustrated at himself, not at Lovullo, he would tighten the strings on his hoodie and keep kind of almost going further and further inward until Torey could only see Merrill's eyes through the hoodie.
You look like Kenny from South Park.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a perfect example. And then those two guys were having a long conversation before the 6th inning. And again, open line of communication between Kelly and Lovullo and the rest of the staff. And as you said, that trickles down to the rest of the team, which makes guys feel comfortable. Here's Vientos, first pitch swinging foul. As you said, that loosened up some of the guys and let them feel their feelings a little bit, get out of their own heads. And again, Merrill Kelly with an opportunity today. Had a loss in Chicago last weekend, but so far through 5 1/3, just 1 run on 3 Mets hits. Mets only needed 5 hits for their 3-1 victory last night. Vientos responsible for 2 of those runs. And his Mets fandom as a Connecticut native passed down from his father, Carlos. Charles. Nicaraguan mother, a Dominican father. His dad was raised in New York, became a Mets fan, passed it down. Vientos naturally as a corner infielder. Who do you look up to? Look up to the captain, David Wright. He's developed a relationship with as a New York Met. Kelly's 1-2 has fought off foul on that changeup.
What's funny is when you said that, I was like, Keith Hernandez?
By the way, glad to have Keith back this week. He came back from back surgery to rejoin the Mets broadcast.
I thought he came back from eating that hot dog.
That was an entertaining sight. Him and Steve Gelbs sharing the Glazilla in Denver. High fastball foul back by Vientos.
They went Lady in the Tramp.
Yeah, that's right.
They both went from one end.
And I was like, well, that would take a long time, I imagine, to get to the center.
Maybe that's how Keith earned his back.
No more Glazillas for Keith. It was good to hear Keith back in the Mets booth during the week. Kelly with a good slider that gets Vientos swinging for a strikeout. That's his 4th. And back-to-back outs to start the 6th inning for Merrill Kelly, who again continues to look much, much sharper tonight.
Well, all it takes is that one meeting. Just throw strikes, Merrill Kelly. He's doing it, and Viento's way out in front of this little slider. After a lengthy at bat, Kelly wins the duel.
So 2 up and 2 down, and the bases are empty for Carson Benj, who has flown out to his fellow rookie Walshman in center field twice. Boy, what a week it's been for Carson Benj. He has made some incredible defensive plays. Speaking of our friend Gary Cohen, used the word pulchritudinous to describe the catch he made in Anaheim on Sunday. Where he had to go. I mean,
I don't know what that means.
It means it basically means beautiful. The root word is a Latin word for beautiful.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Well, to reference you, catchers are the most pulchritudinous players on a baseball team. That makes you feel good, I'm sure, right?
Sure.
He doesn't know. There's a strike. It's 1 and 2 on Benj.
Can I get the language? What is it?
Can I get the origin of the word? Kelly trying to put away Benj with a 1-2 pitch and a fastball blown by him. A season high 6 innings of work from Merrill Kelly, and he has held the Mets to just 1 run through 6. Back on Baseball Night in America on Fox, presented by Mattress Firm, the Valley of the Sun. And that's going to be a challenge by Del Castillo, or no? Yes, it will be. Powered by ABS and powered by T-Mobile's network. Or did they not award the challenge? So even the big board here at the Jumbotron, they thought it was going to be a challenge. They showed it.
Too late.
I guess it must have been too late to have challenged it.
He took a breath. It's too late.
And umpires have tried to make sure that you don't go too long. You're not trying to look around for help, waiting from the dugout. And I think even trying to confirm that there was no challenge on it, because that was an interesting looking pitch out of the gate. Got to be very deliberate with it. Different umpires have different feels for it. Del Castillo fouls that one away. This was an interesting one right out of the gate to start the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, pump faked us.
Kind of pump faked it.
The Mets dugout was, he challenged it. Yeah. Pump faked everybody.
0-2 the count on Del Castillo. Holmes misses outside.
It's Star Wars night. We talked about it here. And they have some cool things on the Jumbotron. Every inning they change it. But what I miss is you'd go to Anaheim and they'd have a theme night, and the other team would be the Emperor and Darth Vader.
Sure.
So when the other team came up to hit on the, like I would come up to hit in Anaheim and I would be the Emperor, and they'd make my face into the Emperor's face. Or Paul Konerko would be Darth Vader, or any of the evil.
Yeah, because you're the villains. You're the evil empire that's coming to try to take over the rebel base.
Here in Arizona, they don't do that. They're nice here, compared to Anaheim used to be.
Del Castillo goes down swinging. He tips it into the glove of Alvarez on a nice breaking ball from Clay Holmes for his 6th strikeout. He is retired 8 in a row, going back to the 3rd inning.
And another strikeout on a little sweeper, slider, curveball, breaking ball. One of my favorite things is you see all the sinkers. Sweepers have gotten a lot of the strikeouts for them, but when you catch a foul tip like Alvarez did right there, your teammates will say, "Way to go, way to catch it." It's pure luck.
You've always said that to me.
100% pure luck.
I remember like our first year working together. I was like, "Oh, that's a nice play on a foul tip by the catcher," and you're like, "That's just lucky."
Most of the time you have your eyes closed, honestly, and it just happens to stay in your glove. 100% pure luck.
Vargas had the big RBI signal, driving in a pair. Back in the 3rd, he sends this one out to Taylor in left center for the 2nd inning. Runs have been at a premium in this series so far. There is action behind Clay Holmes and Austin Warren, right-hander who pitched a couple of times in Denver this week against the Rockies. Two up and 2 down for Nolan Arenado. Hit his 359th career home run last night. And that one off of another Nolan and Nolan McLean. There's a strike to Arenado. While in Denver, Holmes and a bunch of the Mets actually went to the Avalanche Wild NHL playoff game. As you see action in the bullpen with Taylor Clark loosening up for the Diamondbacks. They got a chance to walk in the snow. About a weird week of weather for the New York Mets travels this week. They dealt with a 60-degree day in Denver, then a couple of days of 35 degrees in snow. Holmes and a bunch of the team went to the Avalanche playoff game against the Wild, walking the couple of blocks from the hotel in the snow. And there was another decent day late in the week, and then they show up off the plane in Phoenix, and it's 100+ when you get off the plane here in Arizona. There's the famed hoodie for Merrill Kelly. That's back on. Much more comfortable inside of Chase Field with the roof closed today. It was open last night. 2-2 the count on Arenado. Holmes getting ready for his 100th pitch of this game. Yeah, way more comfortable inside.
They're talking about opening the roof.
Yeah, they were thinking about it again on back-to-back days. Not with a 4 o'clock start local time. That one hugs the line foul.
Not with that 100.
Yeah. This is what, 90?
Imagine how much you'd be sweating if they opened this roof.
Because the game started, what, 6:40 last night local time. It's cooling off as the night goes on. It was 99 degrees at first pitch, but it got much more comfortable as the night wore on. But, yeah, with the afternoon start today and 100-degree weather waiting outside, no, we're going to go ahead and keep the roof closed. We're going to change that decision. Time was called prior. It's in the mid-50s today out in Queens. Warmer weather trying to creep its way in. Quick chat here from Alvarez. Again, Holmes at 100 pitches. This is the first time all year he's reached 100 pitches. He threw 99 on Sunday in Anaheim. A little bit of a breather here too for Holmes, is trying to put away Arenado, finish off 6 strong innings of work. That third inning kind of derailed some of the efficiency for Clay Holmes this afternoon. And still a strong start. Excellent pitching in this series between these two teams. Arenado takes up and in on a 96-mile-an-hour heater. Now does he try to go back to that sweeper that has been a key for the strikeout today?
That's been a strikeout pitch today. But see, as a hitter, you're thinking that I'd almost try and dot a sinker down and away right here. If he could throw one down and away, I don't think Arenado's going to be looking for that one.
There's a payoff pitch to the veteran Arenado. It is a breaking ball fouled back in our direction. A 2-1 ball game in the 6th. And another payoff pitch. He jams it into right field for a base hit. Came inside with that fastball, and Arenado brought the hands in, uses that veteran strength to punch it into right field and extend the inning. And that will do it for Holmes. Carlos Mendoza hoping that Holmes could finish off 6 innings, get into quality start territory. Still a strong outing, but he's done, and he leaves a man on base as he exits the game. Tight ball game on a Saturday at Chase Field in Phoenix. It's 2-1. Clay Holmes 1 pitch shy of what would have been a career high 104. So goes to the bullpen. Dual action sponsored by Roundup. These have been 2 very good starting pitching performances for a couple of teams that have wanted to continue their solid work in that department.
Well, Carlos Mendoza would have loved for Clay Holmes to get out of this 6th inning here and get a nice solid 6, but he pitched really well. He got the ground balls, got the strikeouts. And by far the best outing for Merrill Kelly this year. Looks confident throwing strikes. Clay Holmes just continued to do what he's done. That's be really, really good for the Mets.
Well, Austin Warren has been really solid. Did take the loss with an unearned run against him in Anaheim. He gets a ground ball to short. A sliding stop made by Bichette to finish off the inning as he flips to Semien. One pitch to finish off the frame. And a good job by Warren. Solid work from Holmes. Excellent work from Kelly. And nice glove work by Bichette here. A 2-1 game as we head to the late innings.
The NASCAR Cup Series
Continues between the Mets and the Diamondbacks out in the desert. A 2-1 Arizona lead to the late innings. Marcus Semien leads it off, and it is Merrill Kelly going to work, fouling it back, and that went right off one of our cameras in our broadcast booth. Ed Svita was hoping to move like a cat to his left and dive to save it.
That was, as we used to say in the dugout, an ugly finder for Ed Svita, by the way.
Semien will take a strike. It's 0-2.
Why didn't you catch it?
What's the excuse? Short arm. He says, I short armed it.
He actually went away from the baseball.
Yeah, he stuck his arms out but moved away.
Yes.
Semien cracks one on the ground foul. Oh my gosh, that was great.
Oh man, so this is what a baseball looks like.
Yeah,
huh?
apparently, have you ever seen one of those before?
That'll be a little stickier.
Pitch to Semien is outside.
I mean, Ed Svita, for those that don't know, is our stat. I'm not going to use extraordinaire. He's our stat fella.
I'll say extraordinary.
And he always talks about how athletic he is. And then he gets the chance, and he backed away.
Semien goes waving at a slider for the 6th Merrill Kelly strikeout of the afternoon. 6 1/3. I guess this is the best look our crew can give you. This is our all-9 camera. Got right to it.
It hit the all-9 camera.
It hit the base of it, the thing that holds it up, the tripod.
And Svita sitting almost underneath the tripod. And
it's a great shot, Eddie. It's a great shot.
Never live it down.
There's the veteran statistician Ed Svita. There it is. Yes, we made up for it. 0-1 on Brett Beatty. All in a strike. Been told that that's maybe the 10th ball that's ever come up to this broadcast, but this place has been open since the Diamondbacks have been in existence, '98. This has been the only home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it's only about 10 balls. We've been told about 10 balls maybe have made their way up to.
And the other nine were caught.
That'd be a heck of a ratio, actually. 2-1 pitch to Beatty. 3-1, and now Kelly's pitch count climbing up towards 90. There's a challenge from Gabriel Moreno here, and this is a key one now in the late innings. This is trying to flip the count, and it does. So from 3-1 to 2-2, that's a big call and a productive one there for Gabriel Moreno. That one he lost last night was a rarity on the first pitch of the game, but overall he's been very good. And that was a good one there. Beatty will take upstairs. It's 3-2.
I love the timing of that one too. 3-1 to 2-2, changing at bat, 1-run game here. And what we're not really talking about is Merrill Kelly into the 7th.
Payoff pitch to Beatty, who golfs one out towards Waldschmidt. He started in, races back, has it for out number 2. It's been a very impressive Merrill Kelly performance, Ken.
Well, Adam, Torey Lovello told us about that meeting with the hoodie and how frustrated Merrill Kelly was. But when I spoke to him entering this start, he said, listen, I've definitely been here before. His rookie year, after the All-Star break, for about 8 starts, he was the worst pitcher in baseball. And he said, at this point in my career, the walls aren't closing in like they probably would have a couple of years ago or when I was a rookie. I've got more confidence in myself. I recognize that if I do some things right, it's not going to stay that way.
Merrill, the mainstay, as he deals to Alvarez and pours in a strike. He had struggles early in his career, as Ken said. Lovello told him that you're statistically the worst pitcher in the National League. And he went from that moment to settling in to become a fixture in this rotation.
Oh, that's out.
1-1 on Alvarez. And that 7-inning outing in Game 2 of the World Series a few years ago. Started the championship game in the WBC in 23 for the United States. He got that call, even though it ended up being a loss against Japan. Missed a bunch of time in 2024 with major shoulder surgery. Came back with 32 starts between Arizona and Texas last year. And this year, after a very rocky stretch, trying to finish off a 7-inning, 1-run outing against the Mets, who were hot this week coming in.
All he's doing is throwing strikes. Just throw strikes.
Going to put away Alvarez. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the New York catcher.
I feel like the Diamondbacks, if this run continues a good pitching, they might have to make that into a t-shirt.
Sure.
Just throw strikes.
Just throw strikes. Alvarez waits. Grounds one to the left side. It is the shortstop, Perdomo, that makes the play. The throw is off target, but Vargas made a nice play. And I think those pumps of the glove from Merrill Kelly are a lot of frustration over the last 3 starts, all coming out after a fabulous 7-inning performance. Above and Beyond is sponsored by Jersey Mike's, and Merrill Kelly with his best outing of the season, 7 strong innings of 1-run baseball.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. If you're Torey Lovello and the Arizona Diamondbacks, a great start from Merrill Kelly, leaving with a 1-run lead. Really only one mistake to Brett Beatty. Other than that, he was lights out. And like Torey told him, just throw strikes.
After splitting his first 40 pitches, 20 balls to 20 strikes, he was very sharp the rest of the way. Austin Warren got the final out of the 6th on 1 pitch. He sees Gabriel Moreno showing bunt to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, the problem for both of these teams has been offense. Runs have been at a premium these last couple of nights between the 2 clubs. Still just a 1-run ball game. Breaking ball tails outside for Austin Warren. Leans on that sweeper more than any other pitch in his arsenal. Drop it in for a called strike. Seven runs combined so far in the series. A line shot past Warren to Semien. And Moreno is retired, 1 down. Merrill Kelly, a great start. He is with our Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Adam. Merrill, 6 strong innings. What made you so successful tonight?
Just location was a lot better. The first 4 games, obviously the walks. Still had 2 of them tonight, but I was able to recover after that, not let things get away from me. But just execution. Execution's key, and if I can execute, I'll be all right. If I can't, I'm in trouble.
You had a long conversation with Torey Lovello before the 6th inning. He was doing most of the talking. What was the message there?
We were just talking about the Soto at bat. He was just making sure I understood why he did that. He knows I'm a competitor, and I don't like putting people on if I don't have to. But obviously, I understand that situation. Fall behind 2-0 on Soto, and that's the guy. It's the one guy in the lineup that we don't want to beat us. So in that situation, 2 pitches to play with, fall behind or 2-0 there, and probably the best decision to put him on.
We saw you pound your glove as you came off the mound. How gratifying was it to pitch like this after your early struggles?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad I walked off the mound in with position for our team to win. I think that's the biggest thing for me at this point in my career. The stats are secondary. It's really just about each and every game trying to just give our team the best chance to win. And I feel like early in the season, at least my first 4, I haven't done that. So I was proud of myself to be able to give our offense a chance to score some runs and actually be in a good spot and be in a position to win the game.
Well, congratulations. Thank you. Adam, back to you.
Appreciate the access that we get on these broadcasts on Fox on Saturdays. We get the starting pitcher fresh off the outing, talking to our Ken Rosenthal. He leaves in line for the win with a 2-1 lead. Arizona looking to add on. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the rookie Ryan Waldschmidt against Austin Warren. Couple of strikeouts for Waldschmidt, making the transition from AAA to the big leagues. And he gets frozen. 3 strikeouts in his first major league start. It's a little different at this level. And he is retired for the second out of the 7th inning. Nice work from Warren so far.
Really nice pitch right here. Just ball starts off the plate away and runs right back to the plate. And Waldschmidt says, "Oof, I don't have that in Reno."
Nope. Didn't look like that in the SEC.
Let's not get crazy.
Nothing in 1 on Ketel Marte. He's 0 for 3. A couple of ground outs and a fly out against Clay Holmes. Holmes, again, I know Warren had to come in the 6th inning, but he went pretty deep into the ball game as Taylor Clark continues to loosen for Arizona in the bullpen. It's been kind of a jagged puzzle to try to piece together the bullpen for the Mets. They've got a couple of long guys, a couple of ex-starters in their bullpen. Even a guy like Tobias Myers, who has made the transition from being a starter. He got his first career major league save last night, pitching in the 10th inning. Nice breaking ball from Warren. 2-2 the count. It's been kind of tough because you're using some of the long guys. You're using some of your guys in, now you usually use in higher leverage spots, in lower leverage spots, because the starters haven't gone as deep overall. Trying to piece it together, Carlos Mendoza and his bullpen. Hit the other way by Marte. Starting back with Soto coming in, and he can't make the catch. Marte is going to get extra bases out of it. A 2-out base runner in scoring position for Arizona, and Soto frustrated and shaking out that hand as he could not make the grab coming in.
Great effort by Juan Soto. This is when you dive for a ball. 2 outs, nobody on. He just misses it, just tips off the end of his glove. But that is a great effort. Tell Marte will take it for a double, but that is a nice effort by Juan Soto. We mentioned earlier in the game when he cut the ball off, another great effort by him in left field.
So now Corbin Carroll with a chance to tack on. Marte at second and 2 out. And he hits it hard to right field. This is going to send Benj back, but he's got it. And that'll retire the side. Boy, 7 excellent pitched innings between these two teams. It's just a 2-1 game of the 8th.
When
3 hits for the Mets, 6 for Arizona so far in this contest. Well-pitched game on both sides, in particular Merrill Kelly. Vargas has the big blow, the go-ahead 2-run single in the 3rd. The starters are the pitchers of record so far as the bullpens are now in effect. Kelly goes 7 innings, and he gives way to Taylor Clark, who's in his 2nd Arizona stint. Already his 18th appearance. This is the 39th game for the Diamondbacks. There's a strike to Taylor, and it's 0-2 to start this top of the 8th inning.
And Clark has been really good for the D-backs this year. He's only given up 1 run in his last, what is it, 17 innings pitched. He's been good. His slider's been really good. His changeup's been really good. He's just been effective.
Opponents hitting under $150 during that stretch against him. He gets a lot of ground ball outs. Trying to bridge the gap from the 8th to Paul Sewald in the 9th for a potential save situation. That's offense trying to get going. Taylor sends it out to Waldschmidt, who's got to race further back, but he's on the track for the out. Here at Chase Field on a Saturday afternoon, a 2-1 Arizona lead. As we welcome inside Adam Amin and A.J. Pierzynski. Ken Rosenthal down on the field as well. Kind of let's take a big step back through about 6-7 weeks of the season. Your thoughts, big picture of what we're seeing around the league so far.
Well, the Cubs are really good. The Yankees, the Rays have been a surprise. The Braves. There's been about 4 teams that have really outshined the rest of the league. And other teams are trying to play catch up after getting off to bad starts, like the Diamondbacks, like the Mets. Not a lot of teams have run completely away, but the Braves and the Cubs are the 2 teams that really stand out, because I think we thought other teams in their divisions would be right there with them, and those 2 teams have just taken over.
The top 2 records in baseball, Cubs and the Braves. Double-barreled action with Huascar Brazoban and the veteran Craig Kimbrell. One away, bases empty. 2-0 on Soto, and he was looking to tie the game with one swing against Clark there. 2-1 the count.
I love it. I love it. You're Juan Soto. You're paid to get big hits. It's 2-0 count. Let it eat.
Mets trying to get their first base runner since the 5th inning when Soto got ahead of the count against Kelly. 2-0, and then they just intentionally walked him. Since then, 8 straight retired by Arizona pitching. There's a nice pitch, a sinker that just clips the bottom of the zone, and that evens the count on Soto at 2-2. This has been a heavily used bullpen for Arizona. They played a ton of close games, 12 one-run games this year. Soto hits one the other way. Perdomo to his right off the backhand, and he retires Juan Soto for the 2nd out of the 8th inning.
Man, he made that look smooth, didn't he?
Yep.
Perdomo just so smooth, easy. This is not an easy play. Backhand in the hole. He just gets his feet set. Perfect timing. I mean, watch his feet. His feet are perfectly set. He lines himself up. And then just the perfect throw over to Vargas at first. That is not an easy play, Adam. He made it look so simple.
It makes a lot of hard plays look very simple. Weird hops and ricochets. Now Bo Bichette has walked in 3 trips today. It's still looking for his first hit of the series. He got to a World Series last year with the Toronto Blue Jays before signing a 3-year deal with the Mets. And he goes fishing then a slider. It's 1-1. He's talked about it. The numbers are down. They're not where you want to be. The combination of wanting to impress your new team and your new city and your teammates and your new manager, trying to be perfect. Off the end of the bat, out to center. Waldschmidt angles over, and a 1-2-3 inning tossed by Clark out of the bullpen. 10 straight Mets retired. 2-1 Arizona. Tonight's telecast sponsored by Freestyle Libre. One of the defining moments of this series, Mets and Diamondbacks, going back to 1999, the Todd Pratt walk-off. As part of the Mets playoff run, they'd run into the Atlanta Braves in the NLCS that year, of course managed by Bobby Cox. We talked about we lost him today. Craig Kimbrell, the longtime Atlanta Brave, he climbs into a ballpark that he does not like very much at all. Lost game 3 and 4 of the NLCS with Philadelphia here in that wild 2003 series. Ketel Marte had the walk-off against him in game 3, gave up the big Alec Thomas home run in game 4. Top 5 all-time in saves. Top 5 all-time in saves, 5th all-time in fact. Number 2 among active players behind Kenley Jansen. Perdomo leans back out of the way of a fastball. It's 1-1. Kimbrell trying to bounce back after giving up the big grand slam to Jake McCarthy on Thursday, playing for his 10th major league team. I mentioned Alec Thomas had that big blow against him during that 2023 NLCS. Thomas was designated for assignment this week. That's why Waldschmidt got the call up for the Diamondbacks, and getting the spot in center field now.
Craig Kimbrell used to be one of the most uncomfortable at bats. He only throws 2 pitches, but his fastball, before they kind of could quantify the rise, he had that rise. It was 99. It just never came down, and then he'd back it up with the curveball. His numbers speak for himself. He was dirty.
National League Rookie of the Year all the way back in 2011 with the Braves. Been the reliever of the year a couple of times. Surefire future Hall of Famer with those save numbers that he put up, it feels like, certainly, although it's been a tough last few years for Kimbrell. An incredible run, especially on the front half of his career. Lefties have hit him better than right-handers. Perdomo is a switch hitter batting from the left side right now. Right-handers so far this year against him, and you talked about the discomfort of an at-bat facing Kimbrell because of that delivery and arm slot. Righties are just 1 for 13 against him. Lefties, though, 9 for 19. You can take home a piece of the game. Bid on game used jerseys, baseballs, bases, and more at auctions.mlb.com. Numbers this year so far for Kimbrel in 9 appearances. Two pitch, and Perdomo fights off another one.
He doesn't have the third pitch. That's why those numbers are that way. Yes, he still has the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he has the curveball. But what he doesn't have is that third pitch. I remember 2015 when I was with the Braves, before he got traded to San Diego, he was trying to work on a changeup in spring training.
That's the end.
And he threw it, I think, once or twice in a game and gave up a hit. And he's like, yeah, that experiment's over. I'm just going to go back anymore. Sure. Good for me.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat to Perdomo, and he held off. And he draws a leadoff walk as the Diamondbacks look for some insurance here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Trying to make it a little bit easier. 38th game of the season for Arizona. 12 of the 37 they've played have been one-run games. They played a bunch of two-run games like last night as well. Mets have played 11 one-run games this year. They're 3-8 in those one-run games. The Diamondbacks are 6-6. Mets have lost 7 times on their opponent's last at bat this season.
Well, when you don't hit great and you don't score a lot of runs, but you pitch fairly well, it usually leads to close games, like we have tonight. And that can determine your season, how you do in those one-run games. Can you get that big hit when you need it?
What's up?
The catcher is challenging the ball call.
The challenge from Alvarez, who's been sharp behind the plate in that category. This one is a miss.
Call is confirmed. New York loses 1 challenge. They have 1 remaining.
Both teams have 1 incorrect challenge left.
Wow. He's been really good in that one.
So he got one right. That was less than 1/10 of an inch. That one was about 3 inches off. 2-0 pitch. That one way inside. It's 3-0 on Del Castillo. Quick check over and a close play, but back in safely. Perdomo, who stole 27 bases last year, got 6 this year, but he's been caught 3 times. Now he gets a big lead, takes off on a 3-0 pitch, but it's a walk anyway. And the first 2 men have reached via free pass from Kimbrel. And another chance for Ildemaro Vargas, who drove in both Arizona runs back in the 3rd. Our Good Hands play sponsored by Allstate. Got a little bit of help with Perdomo at second base in that situation.
He did, but just a nice piece of hitting. This is how you lead the league in hitting so far this year. He gets a sinker out up over the plate. And he just kind of slaps the ball to left field where there was an open hole. Now we get to see if Perdomo at second base is going to try and help out a friend again. I was shocked right there that Perdomo didn't try and steal earlier. Craig Kimbrel has always been slow to the plate. He's also always been able just to strike everybody out, so he's never worried about it.
Corners come creeping in. Vargas swats at the first pitch he sees and flies it out to left field for Soto. And there is a key first out here in the bottom of the 8th for Kimbrel. Behind the plate has been a consistent conversation over the last few years for the Mets, trying to keep the running game intact, and then also in part is what happens on the mound as well. The combination of the battery trying to keep the running game in check. Luis Torrens made the start last night behind the plate. He's the superior defensive catcher between he and Alvarez.
If you haven't seen him throw, it is a sight.
One of the top pop times in baseball. Arenado swings at the first pitch. Boy, back-to-back. Vargas and Arenado go after the first one they see against Kimbrel, and each of them pops out.
I can't really. I've been there, Adam. I've done it. Back-to-back walks, though, and then the guy who's leading the league in hitting goes up there, swings at the first pitch. Unproductive out, and then Nolan Arenado, the next guy, swings at the first pitch, and basically giving Craig Kimbrel an out of this inning after he walked the first two guys. It happens. I know they're trying to be aggressive, but man.
Now Gurriel climbs in. He's never had a hit against Kimbrel in the handful of times he's seen him. He takes a strike. And there is Paul Sewald. He's got 7 saves this season, getting ready in the Arizona pen. Stop backhand by Alvarez behind the plate. These are the chances that Arizona doesn't want to let slip away. That's been a trend for their offense as of late. Trying to get some insurance, the Diamondbacks here in the bottom of the 8th against Kimbrel. 2 balls and a strike on Gurriel.
What's interesting, though, is they lead the league coming into this game and hitting with runners in scoring position. The problem is they just haven't gotten a lot of guys in scoring position.
That one fouled back, and after walking the first 2 batters of this inning, Craig Kimbrel has a chance to get out of it unscathed and give the Mets offense a crack in the top of the 9th with 3, 4, and 5. Melendez, Vientos, and Benj all due up. There are the numbers with runners in scoring position. That number has been higher earlier in the season, up over 300, and that number has slowly ticked down. It's still one of the best marks in the league, but not where Torey Lovullo saw it earlier. 2 on, 2 out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Deuce is wild here in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 2-1 game. And a strikeout of Gurriel. Kimbrel is able to wiggle his way off the hook after the first 2 Diamondbacks reach. But it'll be Sewald in the 9th for Arizona with Melendez, Vientos, and Benj all due up.
I'm a 200.
This summer, the biggest tournament on the planet comes to the United States, and you can see it all right here on Fox. Get ready for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It all kicks off June 11th on Fox and FS1. MJ Melendez climbs in against Paul Sewald, who is looking for his 8th save, but the first one for Arizona since mid-April, their last coming on April the 17th. Sewald, who began his career with the New York Mets, a 10th round pick in 2012. Now in his 2nd stint with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Ryan Waldschmidt moves over into left field, and Jorge Barroso, an excellent defender, is out to center. Melendez pops one up foul, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sewald, the Las Vegas native, drafted by the Mets, made his major league debut in 2017. 4 seasons with New York before heading to Seattle. Diamondback in 23 and 24. Split last year between Cleveland and Detroit in the AL Central. Now re-signing with Arizona. Ahead of Melendez, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he freezes up with a fastball for out number 1.
Well, Paul Sewald's only a 2-pitch guy. He's got a fastball and a sweeper. His sweeper has been his pitch, his money pitch this year so far. But right here, Melendez must have been looking for something else. Just a perfect pitch. And one thing Sewald can do, even though he's low 90s, he has an exceptional ride on his fastball. So if he can throw it at that top of the zone, it's hard for these hitters to get on top of and hit.
Here's a right-hander in Vientos. He bounces one foul. Sewald has not allowed a hit to a right-handed batter so far this year. Righties are 0 for 17 against him. Vientos fanned twice against Merrill Kelly today. Grounded out as well. Another tapper foul, and Sewald trying to make it back-to-back strikeouts. He donates $500 per strikeout to Child Crisis Arizona, an organization that his wife Molly co-runs, a program he started 4 years ago and has raised almost $400,000 for children with familial issues. The 0-2, down and away, and it's 1-2. Says he's got every resource imaginable to be a parent, and it's still hard. I can't imagine how hard it would be when the cards are stacked against you. A great cause for Sewald. Vientos waits for a 1-2. Hits it hard into center field. Barroso back at the wall. He is on the track for the out. 2 down. Vientos just missed a game-tying home run in this ballpark, and there are 2 down in the ninth.
That's the high fastball. Vientos gets on top of it. Sewald's open. He thinks he's got a chance. And it was caught just short. Maybe with the roof open.
Well, he's had a couple of those deep flyouts this week between Denver and Phoenix. Now the rookie Benj with 2 down in the ninth. Ball 1 outside. Rookie in his 36th major league game got out to a very cold start, has turned it around and looked very comfortable at the plate. But 0 for 3 tonight. And he looks at a slider that drops in for a strike. There's the sweeper to even the count. Two balls and a strike on Benj. Still got Arenado playing in at third. You have a very deft glove. Rest of the infield is back for a 2-1 pitch to Benj. 3-1. Marcus Semien waits on deck if Benj can reach.
If you're Benj, you're trying to tie this game.
You're selling out here?
100%. I'm saying I'm getting a high fastball. And if he throws me a sweeper for a strike, so be it. But I got to get on top of this one.
Oh, there it was. There was the fastball. He's sold out. It's 3-2.
I love it, though. Now you go auto take on the sweeper right here.
It's a 3-2. It's a fastball, and Benj was ready to fight it off foul.
He was late.
38,726. Largest crowd since the home opener this year. Waiting for a payoff pitch. So is Benj. A 3-2. Foul back again. Another fastball that he fights away.
He's fighting him off, like you said, Adam. He's late. In the back of his mind, he knows that Sewald has that sweeper. So you just don't know what to look for.
Another 3-2 pitch, and he swings and misses. Sewald slams the door shut, and the Diamondbacks win it 2-1. Much-needed victory for Arizona. They came into action today, losers of 12 of 16 and 7 of their last 8. Many of those very close games, but they're on the right side of one today.
Well, this is Sewald to perfection right here. The high riding fastball, Benj is underneath it. The excitement. He wanted to pitch today, and we spoke to him before the game. He got his opportunity for a save, and he did what the Diamondbacks, starting with Merrill Kelly, Taylor Clark, and then Paul Sewald. They pitched an exceptional game today. Huge hit from Vargas off Clay Holmes. Nice win for the Arizona Diamondbacks to try to right the ship.
After a 3-1 New York win on Friday night in extra innings, another tight one tonight on Star Wars night at Chase Field. The Diamondbacks come out on top of a tight one by the final of 2-1. For A.J. Pierzynski, Ken Rosenthal, the wonderful women and men of our Fox Sports crew, I'm Adam Amin saying so long from Phoenix, Arizona. On the other side, Kevin Burkhardt and Mark Sweeney are in the studio for the postgame right after this.
Aaron Judge.
Welcome to the Baseball Night in America post-game show. Diamondbacks get a hard.
Geraldo, you've been teammates with Merrill Kelly for several years now. What was the difference in him tonight?
He was aggressive. He threw a lot of strike, and that's him. Every time he's aggressive and he's throwing some strike, you know, he can go far in the game. So that's exactly what he did today.
During Vargas' at bat in the third inning, before he hit the two-run single, we saw you signaling to him from second base. What were you seeing from Clay Holmes?
You know, he's a great pitcher. He's been doing great so far, and you know, if we have something, we're gonna relay the sign. But I have no comment on that.
Okay, Vargas. He's played for a bunch of teams, independent ball, winter ball, and he's been with the Diamondbacks 3 times. How happy are you for him just to see his success?
I'm so grateful and happy for him. You know, he's the guy. He's been long in this sport. You know, he's been back and forth with a lot of different things, how you say. But I've been very happy about what he's been doing so far. You know, he's the best player we have so far this year, and I'm glad he's been doing great for us. You know, he's a great teammate. His energy, his bite, that's why he keeps the guy going every single day. So I'm happy for him.
Geraldo, thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Back to you.
All right, guys, thanks.